Basketball has always been a male-dominated sport, but in the past few years, women's basketball has seen a significant rise in popularity. Players like Caitlin Clark, Ryan Howard, and Angel Reese have gained an insane amount of attention to the sport of women's basketball. Since then, women's basketball has become a new sensation. But is there more to the story? Are these players the only reason behind this sudden rise in popularity? Or are there broader factors at play? Historically, men's basketball has always gathered more views, be it through television or on the court. And just to give you a typical example, in 2019, Baylor and Notre Dame women's basketball faced off with a total of 4 million viewers. But an average men's basketball game like the University of Virginia and Texas Tech had on average 20 million viewers. The gap is huge, but the question is why? Why did women's basketball never get the attention it deserved until now? There's a million reasons we can throw out, but the simplest may be to say that people prefer watching men's games over women's games, or that women don't make gut-wrenching plays like dunking over a 7-footer. But deep down, there are some shocking discriminatory reasons. CBS and Turner had a television contract that allowed them to live stream NCAA's March Madness tournament. The networks paid a huge amount of money to secure the contract, but there was one slight issue. While men's basketball would be featured across multiple networks, women's basketball would only be restricted to ESPN and cable TV. In 2021, a video went viral where the weight room of a women's basketball team was shown with only a small rack of hand weights along with some yoga mats. After the viral video, a debate rose as to why women's games aren't being given the same treatment, promotion materials, and marketing as men. Ultimately, the NCAA Commission was forced to put together a team to conduct a gender equity review. This report will highlight all of the past discussed issues and much more. For example, it exposed the fact that TV viewership reflected inequalities in promotion and internal attention given to men's and women's games. But was this the full truth? Maybe. The truth is, as much talent as there is in the WNBA, there has never been talent that can move a whole group of men over to the sport like the recent talent has. And it's true, men's basketball is still more popular and it probably always will be, but there's one thing for certain, the tides are definitely starting to turn in 2024. In this year's NCAA Basketball Championship Tournament, the women's final game garnered nearly 18.9 million viewers. That was at least 28% higher than the men's game viewership, which capped out at 14.8 million viewers. If you don't believe me, just rewind the matchup between the University of Iowa and South Carolina. The social media sentiment, in-game attendance, and TV viewership were telling basketball fans across the U.S. the same story. And the stigma is changing overnight, and it's marking the beginning of a new era, an era where women's basketball might just be as popular. I'm not gonna say it. But you get the point. Many sports fans state that there is one key player to blame for this, and we all know who. If you don't know who Caitlin Clark is, I have like 3 videos on her, so I'm not gonna explain. Anyways, the reason I have to mention Clark is because in early April of 2024, Clark and her team beat LSU in the Elite 8, whereas in the previous year, LSU beat Clark's team, and LSU has Angel Reese. That particular game was viewed by 12 million people on ESPN, breaking the record of 10 million views set last year when LSU beat Iowa. The game also beats records of any Major League Baseball game played last year, along with all but one NBA Finals game. Regardless of your take on either player or team, one thing you can't argue is the popularity they've brought the sport. This was enough evidence that people are indeed interested in watching women dominate the basketball court. The credit is not just limited to Caitlin Clark. Other players like LSU's Angel Reese is considered as an upcoming rising star in the league. Even the most legendary NBA players or ex-WNBA players back up these players as pioneers of the sport, even though WNBA players throw a little shade. I'm not going to talk about that. And we can't forget about other women's athletes like Paige Buckers and Juju Watkins. When the two matched up, they attracted more than 6 million viewers, leading up to 10 million by the end of the game. When there are players like this on the court, the sudden rise in popularity does not seem shocking at all. Where do you think women's basketball is headed? Thanks for watching to the end of this video. If you also want to know the downside of Caitlin Clark or how good Angel Reese is, click either one of these videos.